But
she just wanted to put something on Taylor's tongue.
Yeah. Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we're inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
We read something. What is this?
Point something. Infestation 11.5.
11.5.
Yeah, we're making our way through the Infestation arc. What did you think of this chapter?
This was such a fun chapter thematically. It really was about saving people in a bunch of different contexts. And that's my thesis statement, I guess, for this episode. This is about saving people. And we also got to see some exciting merchant action. I think it's about to get a lot more dramatic in the next chapter. So buckle up.
Buckle up. Well, as a preamble to the incoming drama, should I summarize what happens in this chapter?
Yes, please do.
So Taylor and Lisa in civilian clothes and a small squadron of Coil's soldiers, newly under Lisa's employ, had made it to the remains of Weymouth Mall for a merchant's
scene of the
bloodbath party. And we get, as the chapter starts, a description of the mall. It's,
seen better days.
Seen better days is right. There's a big hole in the ceiling under which a big dance party is happening, but everyone's kind of playing their own loud music in different genres, and there is broken down construction equipment that's been spray painted. There's trash cans that are full of stuff that's on fire that people are crowding around, and they have to kind of go through a point of entry, and it's fine for Lisa and Taylor kind of posing as couples with these intimidating looking soldiers, but the gate guard does not let Jaw and Brooks through. He uses the F slur, not a fan of gay men, and Jaw checks with Lisa for the okay before breaking the doorman's nose and basically saying, hey, anyone else want to complain? And taking some extra red armbands. They make their way forward without much trouble, and Taylor reflects on who these people are at the merchant's party, doesn't think highly of them and of the might makes right situation that they have found themselves in. A merchant vendor asks if they want to buy somebody, which they refuse, but then he tries to follow up with saying, well, how about some drugs? And Lisa tries to smooth over the situation, perhaps sensing they shouldn't refuse everything, buys some decadence, which is a code name for ecstasy, and slips some to Taylor only after having put it in her mouth, saying, oh, don't worry, sleight of hand, these are just sugar pills. But, I wanted to barter and buy some stuff to fit in. They move on to kind of the main event. Taylor explains who they're looking for. She has a picture of Sierra's brother. And while they're searching, Taylor stumbles across a group of people in front of a women's clothing store watching a bunch of women strip and put on new clothes from the store to entertain the crowd. And Taylor thinks a lot about kind of the social dynamic at play here. It seems like a few of the women are high, kind of getting into the act, and one of the women is actually a girl, younger, who looks terrified and is not dancing for people, and Taylor judges that at some point the crowd is going to turn on her if she doesn't give them what they are hoping to see from her, which is, taking off her clothes. Taylor decides she's going to save this girl. Lisa is saying that's a distraction, but Taylor absolutely insists, no matter what, she's going to use her power if she has to. Lisa says, okay, fine, and gets Minor, who's Lisa's lieutenant, kind of the guard that she is with and is working most closely with, to jump up on the stage, basically say, all right, whoever, owns this girl, I'm taking her, throws a bunch of money into the crowd, which causes a commotion, and grabs the girl, who immediately starts screaming, but then they force their way away from the crowd. An older man draws a knife and tries to attack Minor, but Lisa and Taylor disable him and basically are able to make a clean getaway after that. They find themselves in a somewhat quiet, at least for this party, hallway. They drop the girl off, and Lisa tries to put her at ease, basically saying, we're not doing anything with you. This girl here, gesturing towards Taylor, wanted to rescue you. And before Taylor can respond, she is embraced by the girl who is sobbing and so grateful. And Taylor realizes that this is like the first time she's heard anyone say thank you for anything that she's done. She doesn't necessarily know how to feel about that. She's taken aback a little bit. But before she can really respond, suddenly the girl says, oh my God, you went to Winslow High. You're that locker girl. And starts to recount, basically Taylor's reputation among the students of Winslow before Taylor snaps, cutting her off. And this upsets the girl, being like, oh, I just got rescued and now I'm bringing up this painful memory. And, she starts to say, I wanted to help, do something, but... And then Taylor says, but you did it, and gets really angry and starts just berating her for not helping Taylor when she was at her lowest. Maybe she was even somebody who started spreading those rumors afterward, and the girl starts to say, no, you don't understand, it was Emma Barnes. But then Taylor's cut off. Brooks has showed up, and he has found the boy that they're looking for. So Taylor and the girl she rescued don't get a chance to finish this conversation about Winslow. There's a moment where they're like, what are we going to do with this girl? The girl says, you can't leave me. Lisa says it's up to Taylor, and Taylor says, yeah, we'll bring her along. So they go to where Brooks has found the boy, Bryce, and as you predicted, he is not chained up, not wearing handcuffs, nobody intimidating close by. He's sitting with a girl. And we get the story from him, basically that he hated his life, it sucked. These people came to burn down the church and he thought it was fun, so he joined up. He says he's here to have some fun. And Lisa says, okay, reality check, your sister's in the ICU. And again, before they can finish that part of the conversation, a booming voice echoes through the crowd. It is Skidmark, the leader of the merchants. He's standing on a platform and just shouting at everyone there that it's time for the main event. He's with Squealer and Mush and several other capes that Taylor doesn't know, probably new recruits. She does recognize Trainwreck in attendance. What Skidmark does is use his power to create a square arena in the floor of the mall. His power creates these gradient force fields that push you, if you're in them, from one direction to another. And he draws the gradients in this square such that if you get pushed through them, you will be taken rapidly from outside the arena to into the arena. And there's basically no way for you to get out. And he says, well, you know what the red armbands mean? Bloodshed. There are no rules. Last 5 standing in the ring get a prize. Taylor notes the people currently in the ring are not exactly happy about this. Lisa notes, oh, fuck. He's recruiting parahumans by trying to get people to have trigger events. Finally, Skidmark says, but tonight there's a special prize. This is not just any old shit that we found from our looting. We have won the lottery because tonight the 5 survivors will win superpowers in a can as he unveils 5 metal cylinders to the crowd.
Oh, such a problem. Man, in this story so far, individual capes have been so much, obviously so much more powerful than, other people, but if other people are not even pawns in a game of chess, I feel like all of the players on the chessboard are capes and the normal humans are just standing on the ground next to the board or something.
Yeah.
The idea of introducing even a single new player could change everything.
Yeah.
And Skidmark and co. are trying to manufacture them, and it seems like they're succeeding. They already have a bunch of capes serving them.
Right. In the past few weeks, there are 5 presumed capes. I guess Taylor doesn't know that they have powers or not, but based with them being with the other 3 powered
the
merchants.
Impression.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever they've been doing, if Lisa's theory is right, then yeah, if you can get a couple of capes a week by creating battle royale death matches and other fucked up stuff, fucked up enough to cause a trigger event, then like, yeah.
What is the Protectorate doing? Like, what are they doing about this? Are they, like, everything we've seen over the wards, they're just reactive. They're like walking the streets, stopping trouble when they see it. But, like, this is a campaign being waged to take power in the city.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I mean,
do they have a strategy?
Do they even know?
Well, they probably don't know, but, like, they should know.
Yeah.
They should be finding this out.
Yeah, well, it is funny, right? The reason that they know a little bit, like Lisa's able to put the pieces together quicker than, most of the people in the Protectorate, right? But Lisa does have the hunch that, hey, you know what? I should check out one of these merchants' parties. Yeah. And I'm not sure we've ever seen any kind of like infiltration, subterfuge, recon from the heroes. We have Dragon's like total surveillance thing, but Dragon's kind of like at a different level. Like
Dragon isn't a cape, also.
Fair. Well, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't even talk about that in the Dragon episode. Oh my god! But we shouldn't get too sidetracked. No. We'll definitely come back to that.
I was gonna say we haven't seen it, but would we have seen it? Would we know if it was happening?
Because no, we wouldn't. You're right.
I was just thinking, like, I guess any of the Protectorate could go to this meeting without their mask on and we wouldn't know. And I was like, oh, someone's there.
Yeah.
Like, someone is going to be there besides our 2 capes and their
You gotta hope so. I mean, yeah. But they do seem to have their hands full. Like, they can't even get supplies around the city without being attacked. No, it's true.
They definitely have their hands full. But this is also a thing where, like, they need additional help. And it doesn't seem like enough people have arrived to provide it.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, like, is this the first time someone's been bad enough to think up the, like, let's do this fucked up stuff to people for, to try and produce a trigger event? It can't be, right?
I mean, you must have, like, middle schoolers all over the country trying really bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
The kid who's like, I'm going to jump off the building so I learn how to fly. Like, it's like there's going to be that level of stuff. There's going to be self-harm.
Yeah.
There's going to be, like, anyone who is feeling desperate or anyone who just loves the idea of escapism or is just enraptured by the idea of powers is going to be trying stuff.
Though we did have that beat, sort of like Taylor put her foot in her mouth about trigger events with the other Undersiders. So it could be the kind of thing where, like, non-capes don't necessarily know enough to be able to act on it in that way.
Yeah.
And sort of there's the bit about like, Glory Girl triggered at a basketball game. It's like the kind when like when people think of a trigger event, that's their go-to example and not what happened to Taylor. So
maybe you're right. People might not know.
And that also makes me think maybe with the merchants, it's like they're intentionally trying to cause trigger events. They may not understand it at a deep level, but it could be the kind of thing where like they were doing something fucked up, somebody triggered, and then they're
they
like,
are capes, so they
no, right, but they're like, oh, we can keep doing this, right? Maybe it is kind of an independent discovery, like we saw somebody trigger recently, and then we're like, let's try and replicate that.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna have so many more power players, and like, it's not like these people are gonna have like worse powers just because they're worse people. That's not how it works.
No. Yeah, right. The logic of it. Can I induce trigger events in people to make my gang more powerful is very persuasive.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an awful thing to do at a human level, but it
completely makes sense.
Right, it makes sense.
I think that Lisa and Taylor are gonna have to swipe that like serum or whatever. Like, can't let that happen. Mm-hmm. Things could go in a crazy direction. Who knows? But like, I feel like that's gonna at least be their goal of like, oh, we cannot let them create, in addition to whoever's going to trigger, like the people who win this like battle royale are going to be terrible people.
Yeah.
Like, you do not make it to be one of the survivors of that kind of melee without being really messed up. So they're the worst people to get powers. It's like the it's one extreme of the sort of like, wait, but these people have powers. That doesn't mean they're good people. If these people get powers this way, it means they're bad people.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have to at least try to steal the case of canisters or whatever. But also Taylor's going to want to stop this whole thing and like save the people in the arena.
Yeah, but no costume,
No costume.
What's she going to do?
Duck into a corner and surround herself with bugs? I'm not sure.
Amazing.
Just coat herself in everyone's body lice.
Wait, what quantity would you need to be unrecognizable? That's horrifying.
A fifth of the crowd has body lice.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other bugs. She could use other bugs.
But that's not like they have enough body lice that you can see them all over their skin.
No, but still, if you gather enough people's body lice.
I don't like the body lice theory. I don't like thinking about it. No.
But she could cover herself in bugs. There are bound to be a lot of bugs.
Right, sort of what she did at Bitch's house that one time, but to a greater degree.
Yeah, anyway, I do think they're going to try to stop this thing.
Yeah.
Probably in several directions.
Yeah, and connecting it to sort of the theme of this chapter, it's a sort of like, well, once you see the bad situation, you kind of have to intervene, right? Like, there's no sticking to your original plan or keeping a limited level of involvement.
Yeah, so let's talk about the saving people thing. So I feel like this chapter really gets at the different levels of, like, what kind of obligation do you have to people? You have Brian's thing of, like, my family, my team, that's my responsibility. And he made the point of, like, people are in terrible situations all over the place. You can't help them all. And Taylor's like, no, but when something's happening right in front of you, you have to. And that's such a, like, classic superhero thing for her to say. Because,
Lisa calls her out on
that. Oh, yeah. But, like, it's the Superman thing where it's like, well, why doesn't he come up with a plan to, like, be of maximum use to humanity? Well, his MO, his character instincts seem to be to rescue people in the situations he finds himself in. And
that's also what Scion appears to be doing, even though we find it annoying.
Well, he just needs a beeper. But yeah, so Taylor has this very strong, like, no, once I've seen a terrible thing happening, I have to do something about it, which is very human of her. Like, Lisa's like, no, but there's like 100 people here who need saving.
Yeah.
And Taylor's like, no, but I saw this one. I can see it happening in front of me. I'm not going to be able to sleep if I don't do something about this. It's a very emotional approach to morality. It's very not utilitarian. It's very like, no, my conscience is telling me because I've seen this and I must answer that call of my conscience.
Yeah.
And Lisa says, like, you've got a little bit of superhero showing through there. And it's not a little. Like, this is who Taylor is at her core. It's underlying everything she's been doing in this arc and the past few arcs. And she's completely unyielding on it. She's like, I will sacrifice anything else for saving this person.
Yeah. That's
what we've seen of her. I guess what I've been wanting from her is for her to just be a little more thoughtful about it. But I do love this part of her. Like, I love seeing this in characters. They're like, no, I have to do this. This is the right thing to do. I don't care what else is going on. Like, I will save this person.
Yeah.
You can help me or not. That's sort of the part of her that is reacting, unfortunately, to Dinah. This is actually making a little bit of sense to me of the thing where she made what I feel like was a sort of a call in conflict with her values and her principles at the end of Arc 6, where she was like, no, I'll stay with the Undersiders. Because she feels really strongly about saving people when there's someone in front of her who needs to be saved. And there was no one in front of her who needed to be saved then. And maybe she's just like a little bit short-sighted about that.
Interesting.
Because what she'd been doing with the Undersiders wasn't that bad. She was mostly fighting other villains. And so her moral instincts, her conscience hadn't been triggered recently with the Undersiders. And it's her conscience that really moves her. And that's what reacted to the Dinah thing.
Yeah.
I'm still behind on my listening of our episodes. So I just listened to the Coil interlude. And Ted, you asked me, do you think that Coil could find a fundamental need for Taylor? Or could he create one? And I was like, gee, I don't know. It seems far-fetched. And of course, he already has. The Dinah thing is that for Taylor.
Yeah.
I don't know that he knew exactly that it would be, but like, that's what she told him at the end of the previous arc, I think. Yeah. Where she's like, no, that's my price. I want you to set Dinah free once you're done with this. He knows now that he can keep her forever.
Yeah.
As long as he dangles this carrot of like, no, but you're still working to save Dinah.
Yeah.
She put herself completely in his power. And I think it is because of this, just her conscience is overwhelming to her. That's why she thought Loon was going to attack some kids. And she's like, I have to do whatever it takes to stop him.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of her tripwire.
Absolutely. And I think that helps me see that even though it seems inevitable, and we've complained about this with Taylor's plan before, in working for Coil to rescue one Dinah, how many more are you willing to create? But what we kind of see from her in this chapter is the reminder that there won't be any other Dinah she's willing to trade, right? It's sort of like Coil hasn't put her in a position of, having to realize that. But I don't see Taylor ever settling for a trade that cynical, right? If she's presented with another Dinah-like figure, like the girl in this chapter, she will have to act to save her.
I mean, the two problems with that are she might not know. She didn't know about the first Dinah.
Of course.
And the other problem is that just means her plan is even more stupid because she's not going to be successful at working for Coil, sucking up to Coil, making herself invaluable if she's going to throw it all away at a moment's notice for like the next person.
Of course. Yeah. What's delusional is the idea that she's strong enough to prevent the creation of more Dinahs indefinitely.
Without offending Coil,
Yeah.
having to go against him in a way that will ruin her plan.
The other amazing thing that we get from Taylor in this chapter, though, is the way that she reacts so angrily to the girl who she saved after being identified as that locker girl. She says, but you didn't help. Just like everyone else, you left me in that locker. You didn't go get help. You didn't report the people who did it, not even anonymously. You felt bad? You wanted to help? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Is it supposed to be some consolation? You were too lazy or cowardly to step up and do anything about it. But hey, at least your heart was in the right fucking place, huh? So this is why Taylor has to be better, right? It's like she looks at this girl and is like, well, you wouldn't rescue a worm, right? But I will. I'm going to rescue everyone, right? Like, this is how I am better.
She continues to rescue this girl after realizing that girl didn't do even the smallest bit to rescue her.
Yeah. So it is fascinating because her anger at the way that she was treated and abandoned gave her power, but has also been sublimated into this superhero-shaped need to help other people.
Yeah.
Right? But it is true that her conscience is motivating her, but it's also this deep pain and resentment at the fact that there were no heroes for her.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of amazing. That's something I really like about her, that what she did with that pain is turn it into this desire to help other people. It is, like you say, it's not just out of love of humanity. It's out of that pain. But, for a lot of people, that pain can manifest in something like joining the merchants.
Yeah.
And the fact that she turned it into this super heroism is a little bit debilitating to her. It's a problem in some ways. It's a thing that's leading her into these kind of no-win situations. Yeah. But it is admirable, I think.
And it's the part of her character that makes her good in a way that's a direct foil to Sophia, right? Regent is needling her. Oh, you really rose above all of your troubles, huh? Right? Sophia sees the world as this abusers and victims.
That's so funny because I just made a note to bring up that Taylor views the world the same way. It's just how she feels about the categories.
Yeah.
I don't think she's quite as binary. I don't think she would put everyone in those two categories.
But she's learning it from experiences
like
this.
But she's walking around being I have this terrible view of humanity from this. But then she sees one person who's suffering and she's like, I must do anything in my power to save them. When someone becomes a victim, they become so compelling to her, which is the opposite of how Sophia sees them.
And what Sophia would do in that situation is, oh, I want to see this girl break and fight back, right? Like, it's like, oh yeah, someone's going to attack her, but like, this is her chance to, you know, like the way that she did with that woman on the street. It's kind of like, oh, I'll observe. And like, maybe she can turn from a victim into somebody who wants to, you know, fight.
And if she doesn't, Sophia just doesn't care about her.
Yeah.
She's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
She's a victim.
Yeah.
A loser. Who cares?
Yeah. I really did feel that in this chapter especially, but I think a little bit in this arc overall, Taylor got that view of the world like pretty directly from Sophia, and it's being validated by experiences like this. Yeah. But you're absolutely right that she feels differently.
Yes, she has a very different emotional reaction to it. You get so many takes on whether, when people are worth saving in this chapter. I mean, you just kind of get like the merchant ethos overall, which is, you know, they laugh when people are hurt, and there's this like, it's this very callous culture that they have created. But you get someone like Brooks who says like, you know, bringing this girl along is like more dead weight, and he means more in addition to Taylor, which you're wrong, buddy, but Taylor says something about like, you really don't like saving people or rescuing people. And he says like, well, you know, I just don't like it when people get themselves in bad situations and then expect other people to bail them out. Yeah. It's like a very dispassionate statement of sort of the opposite of Taylor's view, because Taylor is moved by nothing more strongly than someone who's gotten themselves into a bad situation, usually through no fault of their own. I'm not sure if how the fault would play into it, how much that would bump someone out of the innocent victim category. But like, those people are like her reason for existence. Yeah. I do wonder about Taylor's conscience being motivated not just by suffering, but by innocent suffering. Yes, that's a really interesting angle to pull on or to look at more. Yes and no. She wants to keep the girl with them, protect the girl, even when she finds out that this girl is not innocent in Taylor's own history. But there's an interesting... I want to get back to Brooks, but that's just making me think, you know, just the way the scene is described, you get these three women who are like putting on a convincing act. Mm-hmm. And I think Taylor notes like they're high, like they have this glazed over look. They're very sweaty. And we know that Taylor is afraid of drugs, what they do to people, what they could do to her, like the sort of loss of control angle on it. When she looks at the girl who she ends up rescuing, she says like, well, if she'd been high, she's sobered up by now, right? She's put her in this other category. And it struck me that there's a little bit of like, what Taylor's afraid of is like the way drugs turn people into things, right? But in this scene, she's saying, oh, the women who are successfully keeping up the act, like we don't know that they like this, that they aren't also suffering, right? Just because she looks at this fourth woman, this girl, and is like, oh, she's not here voluntarily. Like, you really think these three women who are high and like performing for a crowd who you think is going to turn on them soon are here voluntarily? Like, maybe, but probably not. Right, yeah. If they're making it work, right? So there is something in that quick judgment where, you know, what she is identifying is how close the girl is to the edge of things going bad for her. She may not realize it, but she's sort of saying like, oh, these other women, well, they're going to be fine for the situation that they're in. They're not about to be perhaps literally torn apart by this mob. But like what she is doing here is kind of being attracted to innocence in a way where she's so quick to assign people into these categories, or maybe not to do it very thoughtfully. She's also being repelled. I mean, she doesn't specifically think terrible things about those other women, but like, she's not interested in saving them. And I think she is repelled by people who are doing a good job of the thing that she is not good at, which is putting on an appearance to appeal to a crowd, sort of in a, like, pretending to be someone they're not. Like, she isn't good at sort of, like, playing to people's, like, you know, playing up to people. Right. Even though she is good at scaring them. No, right. She's good at being scary and intimidating, but she's not good at being appealing. She doesn't have any charisma. And the performance, even if they're doing it under duress. Yeah, she finds charisma off-putting. Going back to Brooks, though, so Brooks is basically saying, like, yeah, the worms deserve it, right? Like, to me, this was very New Hampshire coded, you know, live free or die, right? He's oh, well, I would simply die if I could not live free, right? Like, that's kind of where this philosophy comes from. Like, oh, like,
I would never find myself in this situation. And if I had, it would mean I, deserved it or was dead, right? Like, I would never choose to live this way is such a...
libertarian point of view.
Yeah, it's not inherently libertarian, but it's the libertarian type.
Yeah. The way you're talking about this worm thing gives me a new perspective on the title. Just, we've talked about like, oh, did Taylor feel like a worm in that locker? And I do feel like victimhood and power are such strong themes in this work. And like in this chapter in particular, like you were saying, like what happens to the worms? And do they get saved? Should they get saved? What happens when the worm turns? Like, that does feel like such a central theme.
Yeah.
Speaking of saving people and more perspectives on it, we get Bryce, who we thought needed saving. I didn't actually think that, but Taylor thought that.
Excellent prediction.
Thank you. He's not the worst version that I predicted, but he was sort of kind of the medium version. Lisa kind of calls him out on like, oh, were you this worst version? And he seems like no.
Yeah.
We don't know.
What I will say, not in his defense really, but the way it's written, he's like looking at this girl that he's with while he's telling the story. So it's clear to me that he's telling the version of the story that he thinks will most impress this girl. So the level of nonchalance, disaffectedness, almost kind of like putting on a regent-ish persona, right? Like it does feel calculated to be like, oh, stuff doesn't bother me. I'm just a cool guy who decided to join with the merchants. And there wasn't, I wasn't coerced. I wasn't scared. I've never felt coerced or scared. So
that's a good point. So he actually might,
So I don't think we really have anything to support that point of view, but I do think that he's putting on a show for his lady friend here.
That is a really good point. And we also get him having failed to save his sister.
Yes.
She didn't need saving in the way that he now thinks she did, but he did abandon her in this terrible situation when he could have stayed and helped her.
Lisa is obviously saying this to hurt him to some degree, but I think the gamble here is that she has judged that the way to get him to come with is to press this feeling guilty button. So he does care about this. She sizes up that, he'll care enough to come with them if she says something that dramatic.
Yeah. God, what a tool, though. I realize we've left the saving people thing for a minute, but what a tool to be like, well, I had to do all these chores. More chores than I've ever had to do in my life. Yeah, buddy, the city is falling apart. He gets out of the hospital, he ends up in this decent situation where he has a place to stay with his sister. A lot of people don't have a place to stay. And he's like, I just knew they were going to make me do more chores to earn my keep, quote unquote. I'm like, but do you think that in this time, when everyone's struggling to survive, someone should just hand you your keep and you shouldn't have to do any work for it?
Yeah.
Like, get right out of town, buddy.
Yeah. It's so funny. Something about the annoying teen boy put in perspective for me how much that like this arc is really like a girls rule, boys drool arc, right? Like we have Lisa and Taylor here. We have Lisa's, squad, most of which are, I get maybe it's like straight men, right? We can circle back to Jaw in a minute. But that they all kind of suck and are like threatening. And then we have like, Bryce trying to impress this girl being awful. And then of course you have the girl who gets rescued here. We have Sierra, like these other examples.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's so funny. That's such a great point. Yeah. But I feel like what Bryce is showing us is the thing that Taylor was getting at earlier in the chapter, where she's like, these are the people who lived in our city, and like what percentage of them have come to join the merchants?
Yeah.
Like, and who have chosen this like violent, might makes right lifestyle where they're just like, glorying in violence.
I found this so relatable. The thing is like, I'm arguing that Bryce, there could be more to the story there, right? Like I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it's so tough to look at the rise. There's that
cynical side of you, yeah.
Well, it's so tough to look at the rise of American fascism and not just see clearly like some people get off on this.
Some people just want as much power as they can have and don't care what they do to get it.
And given the opportunity, just want to see, like, as long as the people that they feel superior to are suffering, they don't care about anything else.
They want to see them all burn.
Yeah, exactly.
That was them all, not them all, but both.
Yes. Well said. And just sort of the horror at like, oh, it wasn't until things started getting bad and people didn't make the moral choice that I realized how many people would not make the moral choice.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit, I do think overall Taylor is like really judgy. And I'm sure there are people at this party who will see what is going on and be like, ha 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 ha, until they get out of sight and then try and get as far from the merchants as possible. Yeah. Right. It's like the people who are sticking around who have a lot of armbands, like it's a harder for me to feel that sympathetic. But I just go back to Pigo saying like, yeah, it makes sense. Like the city was broken and now it's falling apart even further. Like I get why people are joining the merchants. Really right. And then you see this extreme and you're like, oh God, I don't know. Like how could any of these people be worthy? But there's probably some middle ground in the people we haven't seen.
Yeah. I mean, this does feel like a thesis statement, to echo my words from earlier in this episode. The idea that this kind of group would form in a city in this situation feels like a claim that Wildboat was making that is hard to prove or disprove. It's a view of humanity. I mean, not saying that everyone would act like this, but that there is a significant portion that would act like this. That, like, feels very believable, but I don't actually know how true it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessarily saying, like, this would happen in any kind of city where there's, like, sort of de facto anarchy, this kind of group would arise. Part of it's that maybe there were the right personalities, the right superpowers in charge to galvanize this kind of group.
Right.
So it's not necessarily like, this is just what humanity does, but
and
it is saying that there is a significant portion of humanity that would act like this under the right circumstances.
Right. And it's very much a question of focus, because even in this arc, we have Danny and his cleanup crew, right? It's just like Taylor has entered the world of supervillainy, and that's why she's here checking out kind of the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's what it's making me think of, and going back to Scholomance again, one of the things that Elle arrives at, I don't think this is a spoiler, it's more of a thematic thing, is that, like, people are going to behave like people, and that means that they are capable of great selfishness, and they're capable of great generosity if they are shown some kind of hope.
Yeah.
And in this chapter, it doesn't quite feel like these people are behaving like people. It's like they're behaving like monsters. They're behaving like villains. I'm not going so far as saying like this is unrealistic. People would never behave like this. But I feel like there are situations where you can be like, oh yeah, I guess if I were in that person's shoes, I can see how that's a path that I could conceivably go down.
Yeah. And
that is not how I feel about these people in this chapter. Like, I don't feel like, oh yeah, I would totally behave like that given the right circumstances.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
I also don't know that there aren't people who would, but that's why I feel like this is almost like a hypothesis of humanity, and I like want to see the evidence.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like a lot of it does make sense to me as like what Taylor would think, right? She's quick to judge, right? And we don't see a lot, like, we have sort of like the mob scene with the men. It's sort of like these men who are leering at these women, dressing and undressing. It's sort of like each of the men wants to control these women, but if someone's bold enough to step up and try and grab one, the other men beat him down. And it's like, the description of this mob is very monstrous, animalistic, right? But it's sort of like...
Although that did feel plausible to me.
Yeah, and right, that's absolutely... I don't need to get into group psychology and misogyny and how, all this different stuff, but it does feel like Taylor is in a situation, right, that is totally foreign to her. I feel like parts of this are just kind of like adjacent to like a rave.
Yeah.
Right? It's obviously not something that Taylor, but like a bunch of like provocatively dressed, sweaty people doing drugs and kind of like being too loud and getting up in your space a lot. Like That's like the kind of situation that it like took me a few times, in the big city to like kind of get comfortable, like being
You're
out.
right that a lot of the descriptions, sort of the value judgments of this are filtered through Taylor. Like, we're not just getting empirical evidence. So, I mean, that is a good point.
But I do agree with you that it feels larger than life in a way. What it reminds me of is the 80s urban decay fantasy action movie. Like, like the merchants, like they're very Mad Max. Like,
very Mad Max.
Squealer her description is like a character from the video game Borderlands, right? Like, I should just show you, I guess this isn't a reference for you, but for the listeners, right? Like, Squealer is like a Borderlands character. That was what I got rereading this. But yeah, Mad Max, Escape from New York, right? Like, you're in a mall, the iconic American 80s location, but now the mall has little trash barrels full of fire in them and right? Like, or like, I guess something like Taxi Driver. There are a lot of these like 70s and 80s, like when crime in New York was really bad before the city kind of turned that around towards the end of the 80s through the 90s, right? So like, but it doesn't feel grounded in the like real history of New York. It feels like this is sort of like riffing on the cinematic fantasy of like New York or like near future New York, or like how bad could things get. The bulldozer closest to me had been spray painted in hues of purple, blue, and red, and it had bras, children's toys, and defaced flags strung around it, among other things.
Those three objects are all so
violating
symbolic.
Women, children, and the goddamn nation. Right? What a collection of objects.
Yeah. I also thought, like, the slap echoes so loudly through this chapter. That's like the one other scene we've gotten in this mall back when, quote unquote, civilization was still present in Brockton Bay. And Taylor lost her temper for the first and only time with Emma, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And attacked her physically.
Yeah.
And that's such a, like, fun, like, foreshadowing, like, of this sort of descent into violent madness.
Right.
Humanity is going through in this mall right now.
Yeah. And I do love, right, so as over the top as it is, I'm not into it. Like, I love Escape from New York. And
you want to be in the mall?
There's this bit, no. When they get to the party, right, what remained was shored up of the mall, but there was a gaping hole that was open to the darkening sky. Beneath that hole, the party was already underway, right? I love the imagery, right?
That's such a powerful, like, the roof is gone, like, the structures of civilization are gone, and they're having a party. Yeah.
It's so good. And when they buy the drugs, the drug of choice is decadence. It's the version of E that Lisa buys for them and feeds to Taylor.
It's very, like, I mean, that isn't one of the 7 deadly sins, but it's a very, like, sinful word.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's kind of what, and I guess to me, the judgy thing that Taylor does, the mindset that she has, is, I think, connecting, like, decadence and the kind of misanthropic, like, evil that we see in this chapter, right? Like, I think just sort of, like, the idea of decadence, like, doing stuff that feels good, and is, like, fun, and, like, sweaty bodies grinding up on each other, like, that's, I think it's really easy for her to just associate that with, like, that's a thing that the only people who like that are bad people. Yeah. This is kind of like the drugs association.
Bad people wear heavy makeup, by the way. I don't know if you knew.
Oh, yeah. I did really like, I feel like, we don't get this girl's name, right? But I do feel like I have a very clear image of her just because of the makeup and then the way she kind of smears it off of her face. She's got this little line coming from her eye. Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that having this sort of super over-the-top society falling apart thing do is, I think, follow up on one of the themes that we got in the Words arc in Weld's chapter, right? Like, okay, the city is broken. But of course, it's going to get better, right? This Weld's philosophy. And like Sophia says, I don't know, sometimes things are broken and they just get worse or stay broken or whatever. Yeah. And Taylor's very much echoing that way of thinking as she approaches the mall of like, oh yeah, we're kind of in this downward spiral now.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of feel like the merchants are shaping up to be a big bad of the next stretch of book. Like, if they're accumulating capes, like, they're going to be a huge threat.
Yeah.
I mean, you also have the Slaughterhouse 9 in town. Like, I don't know how they're going to step in. Are they going to show up at the mall? Like, this seems like they're kind of seen.
That's a great point.
And then, I mean, Coil is working in the background, but he's not the big bad yet exactly. Because, I mean, we're not trying to face off directly against him yet. Yeah, I do wonder to what extent there are going to be efforts focused on taking down the merchants. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I feel like this kind of thing can seem intense in Worm, like, while it's happening, but then, like, isn't necessarily going to be much of an ongoing thing. Like, it's hard to say. I think also Coil is someone who is benefiting right now from the merchants, but obviously doesn't want them to, like, take over in a lasting way.
Right.
They also, like... The merchants are kind of a force of, like, entropy and decay.
Yes.
And destruction. And humanity is very much about fighting entropy and organizing and building.
Yes.
And those two forces at work, like Danny's construction crew versus, like, the merchants at the other end of things. And, you know, Coil is in a way on the side of order, just maybe not in a way that we would approve, but, like, in this thematic divide, he's definitely on Danny's side. Coil is very worrisomely powerful, but, like, that makes me feel a little better about the merchants, because, like, he doesn't want the merchants to be a long-term thing.
Right. And, well, what do you make of Trainwreck's presence?
I strongly suspect that he was sent to the merchants to be, like, a spy. Like, he's not...
It's the chariot move.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. I mean, we've seen Coil do it before. Why would he not be doing it now?
Yeah.
I don't think it would be like, if a fight breaks out, he'll be on our side, because I think he's under deep cover, but... Yeah.
Oh, and I was going to say this earlier, but just on the sort of hypothesis of the merchants, I have been going back as a thesis statement in this reading to Danny's interlude when the announcer on the TV says, people are flawed at their core, which I think is not as damning as people are like this in this chapter with the merchants, right? And so I do think that this is exploring into pushing the boundaries of that kind of space. And as a great illustration, like it tees up the question for us to like talk about in a very effective way, right?
Oh,
like, the merchants are like effectively gross and awful, and
this is such a fun chapter. Like, in terms of action, like, not that much happens, but the thematic material is just so rich. I mean, we've been talking for an hour about it.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you about Lisa in this chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about Lisa?
Lisa seems like she's playing a role that we've seen from her a lot of times before, where she's being very capable. She is reading situations well and fitting into them, you know, with ease. She's not Taylor. She doesn't feel the need to save everyone she sees, but she is not opposed to it and is she's sort of willing to serve Taylor's moral feelings.
Yeah.
Like, she's willing to get on board with him. And that's also where she is with the Dinah thing. Like, she isn't the one saying to Coil, like, no, you need to free Dinah. Like, that's part of my price too.
Yeah.
But she has been expressing to Taylor, like, no, I really want you to get in Coil's good books. Like, I want this for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's more genuine than manipulative. Like, I think she is someone who likes this part of Taylor and kind of wants to support it.
Interesting. Yeah. Because she does kind of try to make the case, like, we can't save everyone.
Right. She's like, there are 100 people here who need saving.
Yeah, Taylor immediately says, this is a red line. Like, I will not cross it, I guess.
Yeah.
And Lisa then is like, yeah, okay. Minor, go get her.
I think that Lisa is someone who doesn't quite view the world the way a superhero does, but, like, there's a part of her that wishes she could. Like, there's a part of her, like, that is appealing to her, even though it's not something she identifies with. Like, she kind of has the whole cops and robbers view, which I think works for her and makes her feel comfortable with, to the extent that it's genuine. I mean, she was also, we know she knew about Taylor wanting to be a hero when she said that, but I think that she kind of likes the foolish idealism, even though she thinks it is foolish.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, it's almost that the rationalization is supporting Taylor.
Right.
Right, but she's kind of happy to have the excuse.
I think so. Like, I don't think it would have bothered her to have walked away from that girl, but I also don't think she's, like, super annoyed by having to do it, because I think she does have this sort of soft spot for Taylor's heroism.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that more, or, like, continue to observe.
I like that as a lens for understanding Lisa, because she is so hard to pin down. And I mean, yeah, she does have, like, she created her lair inside a shelter, which is, like, outwardly pro-social, right? In a way. It's, you know.
Yes, and she doesn't seem like someone who wants to lead, or rather, she likes being in charge of a situation. She likes having control of a situation, but she's not someone with vision. She is someone who likes vision, though, and likes following someone else's, especially when she can sort of be in charge of making it happen.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's really...
She likes people, and she likes being around people, and she likes helping other people. Like, actually, I'm thinking about our friend Gray, who went to business school specifically because she realized that she likes making other people's dreams come true. Like, she likes being able to help implement other people's, like, visions, dreams.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit Lisa. Like, she likes having these strong things to work towards from Taylor because she wants something to work towards, because she likes working towards things.
Yeah,
like, she doesn't have
project.
That kind of internal drive towards those things.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like this. We'll have to keep an eye on Lisa over time. I wanted to talk about, right, so she has that dig about your superhero is showing. And she also says, you know, oh, well, you want to come with us? I guess that's up to Locker Girl here, right? Which is like, the both of these are like it's her sense of humor, but I feel like she's deliberately, like, annoying Taylor, right? Like, these things are calculated to push Taylor's buttons in a way, which is just, I guess that's just Lisa.
That's kind of who she is, right?
But the one that I was really wondering about, and honestly, the behavior on both sides is fascinating to me, but when she gets the drugs, it's like a great way to smooth over the situation. Socially, the bartering is very fun, right? She establishes their cred. And then she's like, oh, here, Taylor, puts the pill on her tongue, and...
It's very smug bug.
Thank you. It is incredibly smug bug. But
she just wanted to put something on Taylor's tongue.
Yeah. And then Taylor's like, no. And she's like, trust me. And then Taylor does take ecstasy, right? She thinks.
Yeah.
And then Lisa leans over until their heads are touching. Sugar pills. A little sleight of hand on my part. Just for appearances. Don't stress.
I mean, I think what she wanted to do was experience Taylor trusting her to do something that she knew Taylor would really not like. Because she really likes having a friend, and she likes having, like, emotional power over a friend.
It's very Regent coded. It's like, I'm going to eat up this obedience from Taylor. This trust. I love it.
Right, except that I think Lisa's actually feeling it.
No, but yeah, it's sort of the idea, like, let me poke and get the emotion that I want.
Yeah, no, she wants to exert this sort of friendship power over Taylor.
Yeah.
And I think that is also playing into what we've been seeing with her, like, supporting Taylor and her Dinah thing and luring Taylor back to the Undersiders. I don't think that she really had a friend on the Undersiders in the way that she is making
kept her
Taylor
distance,
a friend. Yeah. And, you know, because she also was part of the Undersiders, she probably didn't have friends like that outside of the group. Like, you know, she had friends in the docks, but, like, a different level of friends. And I think that this friendship really means something to her.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like these beats are all Lisa intentionally making Taylor squirm. And it's like, it's just...
It's so smug bug.
Yeah, it's very smug bug. It's just very interesting. And it just says a lot, right? It says a lot that Taylor is willing to swallow ecstasy for Tattletale.
Yeah.
Like, given what we know, I am shocked that she didn't make a scene over it. But also earlier in this chapter, when Senegal puts his arm around her again, she goes with it as long as she has to for the mission. Yeah. So she's what it is that she is so focused on the mission, she is willing to make herself uncomfortable.
That's
and
true.
that overrides her.
And she also does have reason to trust Tattletale. Like, I didn't suspect about the sugar pill, but I figured that Tattletale knew it wasn't going to do anything to her.
Yeah.
And Taylor might have figured that too, because, she respects
That's true.
Tattletale's power. But she was nervous about it. I would have been nervous about it.
Yeah.
What a terrible situation. Can you imagine Taylor on ecstasy in the middle of this mall? What the bugs would be doing?
Oh no. That's so funny. I do kind of think that Lisa would want to get Taylor high to be like, oh, just come on, loosen up,
No, she absolutely would. I mean, not in this setting, but yeah,
not in this setting.
No, she would love to get Taylor high. What a friendship bonding experience. What a show of trust.
I know.
It's funny, actually. We talked so much about Taylor being motivated by friendship in the first 7 or 8 arcs of the book. And even now, I think, even though the Dinah thing is also a very strong motivation, we haven't really talked about how much friendship was a motivation for Tattletale. Because it was objectively a terrible idea what Tattletale was doing with Taylor. But she was doing it. She hadn't told anyone about it. She was kind of just playing it out. It wasn't like a short-lived, I'll give her false information and then cut her loose. She was making a friend.
Right, she was making a friend, but it was also a project, right? That was kind of what we were speculating.
She wanted to win her.
Exactly. She was like, oh, I could convince this girl to be an outsider. And that's where it started.
But I think she probably told herself it was a fun intellectual challenge, but really she wanted a friend.
Yeah.
And there was no one on... she and Gru get along, but I don't think they really connect in that way. There's a little bit of friction.
No.
And I mean, Alec and Rachel are both terrible prospects for friendship. So, I think she was really excited about this.
Yeah.
Or she saw the potential there. And I think, all the friendship stuff we saw, at the market when she was, buying her clothes, I think that was all pretty real.
Yeah.
She might have told herself it wasn't, but I think she really did want this.
Yeah.
She put her group in jeopardy for friendship, sort of like how Taylor put her values, her standing in society in jeopardy for friendship.
That kind of recast this chapter is Lisa's I want to go to a party with my friend.
I know. How can I come up with an excuse to go to a party with my friend? I know. It really, I feel like when you talk about it that way, it's it makes this story feel driven by Smugbug. Not necessarily in a romantic way, though you could definitely cast it that way. But, their desire for friendship with each other has really been driving things. And I wonder how much it's going to drive things going forward.
I do think that is very insightful, that indisputably their relationship is a core part of
you were talking about how it ends every arc almost.
Yeah. And so, right, it is both natural to me that you would run with it in a romantic direction in Fix, and also
Also, it doesn't need to be romantic to have that power.
Yeah, you can have a strong story of female friendship.
Certainly.
Without making it
And
clear.
they're both people who were really starved for companionship.
Yeah. So it's compelling whether or not you have your shipping goggles on.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of female friendship, Emma comes up in this chapter.
A little crumb.
You
don't understand.
That was
Emma Barnes.
So frustrating. Yeah. Okay. So we have this girl who was part of the mob, the hoi polloi, when Emma and Sophia and Madison, I guess, also, really still baffled by Madison's role in all of this, when they did this locker thing. We get the fun insight that, they had to, bring, was it, hazardous waste disposal?
Yeah.
Biohazard, whatever, to take the stuff away. But, yeah, so she knew about it. She knew who did it. She didn't say anything about it, just like everyone else. And she's trying to defend herself. I don't think what she's going to say is, no, Emma Barnes would have been mad at me. It feels like there's something that she thinks that Taylor doesn't know that she's going to tell her about what Emma threatened, what Emma did, said to the other kid, whatever. And I am so curious and what a tease.
Yeah.
And Taylor tries to get at it, but this girl is Celeste, and then Taylor drops it. And I was no, I understand that you probably had to do that in this moment. There's a lot going on.
For your conscience. Save her and make her tell you the Emma story.
maybe that played a role in her being like, the girl can come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am so curious. I think this is going to be another piece of the puzzle. I feel like Dragon, like, doesn't quite add up yet. But I feel like I have another piece, maybe, or like a little piece of a piece.
And it's fun. I mean, just the whole scenario of Taylor being recognized as Taylor from Winslow High.
Oh my gosh,
is
yes.
brilliant.
Yes.
Right. We have her again. This is Skitter putting on Taylor's clothes to go to a party, but then she gets recognized as Taylor. And the awful juxtaposition of Taylor being like, I saved this girl and she's hugging me and I couldn't help hugging her back. And why had nobody ever said thank you to me before? Into, you're that locker girl. Oh, poor Taylor. It is so sad. And naturally, she flies off the handle and takes out on this girl some of that stuff that's been building up for, years at this point. Not years since the locker incident, but for months.
The thing about no one had ever thanked her before really hit hard.
Yeah.
Because, who has she saved for now?
She's just been doing, like, cape stuff. Yeah. Right?
She has been fighting villains. Like, she took some ABB people into custody who probably would get their, like, bombs removed or whatever, and I guess would be... Well, that's not... She was fighting them. That wasn't the same as saving them. This is the first person she's, like, directly rescued.
Did Armsmaster say, thanks for taking out Loong? I guess the Undersiders thanked her that first day for helping them out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She just wants to be thanked.
Yeah. And that's that part of her. That's the selfish part that wants to be a hero, right? It's like you want the recognition. You want somebody to say, like, what you did mattered to me, right? Like, you saved me. She wants to hear that from people. And that's not, I'm not condemning her for that. That's a very human impulse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I feel like this reminds me of the paradox that I'll talk with other writers about. It's like you have to write stuff for the joy of writing it. But of course you also want people to read it and like it and enjoy it. Like you can do the first one, but like the second one is gonna be part of it. Like this idea of like, no, I only write for myself and I don't care about an audience is like never really real.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge difference between doing that and like just churning out something that you're like, I think people will like this even though I think it's trash. Like you can still write and want that good feedback while being genuinely fulfilled by and attached to the things you're writing.
Yeah. Dramatic black and white thinking about that kind of thing. It's never the
And
right
so
answer.
I feel like that's this situation as well. Like, you can really want the people to be saved, but, like, of course you want a thanks.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of the natural consequence. Like, if you did something right, then you should get a thank you. If you aren't getting thank yous, like, did you do something right?
And it's also her, like, she keeps being like, oh, I don't deserve this. Like, I'm so terrible. I'm not, right? So she also isn't good at feeling confident in herself. And so just having somebody being like, thank you, I think really splashes some cold water on her like negative self-talk and like speaks to this part of her that is actually craving, affirmation. Yeah. I wanted to talk about the scene with Jaw.
Oh, yeah.
So we get this little interaction as they're entering, right? It reminded me a lot of the Gregor interlude of this, like, we're going to show some prejudice, right? There were those girls in line at the club who were mean to Gregor, and then he gets to skip the line and those people get kicked out forever, right? And this is a much more heightened version, but these couples are going in. The guy says the F slur to John Brooks. And then Lisa's like, yeah, get him. And Brooks like breaks his nose and basically says, hey, anyone else got a problem? Yeah. Right. And it's so
fun.
It's so satisfying, right? It's like, it's strategic that, they can dish out the hurt, but it's also done in a way that's like, oh yeah, you're, gay bashing. And then you immediately get this violent comeuppance. And it's like, we're like, you made yourself an acceptable target. And we're really, really happy to see this.
It is satisfying several times in this chapter to be reminded and get to see the evidence of, like, yeah, this is a terrible situation they're in, but these 6 people have a lot of power. Like, they can get out of little bad situations.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too. That's true, too.
But yes, that one is particularly satisfying because there's, like, homophobia, not today, pow!
But this clicked for me something, though, right? So we were kind of thinking about, like, it's like, I don't know, this probably isn't like 5D chess on Lisa's part, but like a little bit of the why are Jaw and Brooks being set up as a couple?
Yeah, can't they just be two guys?
Yeah, exactly, right. But what I was wondering is Jaw actually gay? Right, so Jaw could be like... Jawing on is maybe slang for giving head.
Oh yeah, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, and we had that whole beat where he is coy about where he got his name, right?
Uh-huh. Okay, all right.
And he's described as a big man, like a bear. Like Taylor calls him a bear. So I feel like maybe this is there might
something. Be some implication happening. He was the one who laughed when Lisa was like, "You guys are going to be a couple."
Yeah, so I don't know. This is my theory.
Okay,
which makes the justice of it all the sweeter. And like this was right after Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed, but like that's also kind of like an ex-military, like around this time story of like I was a soldier, but I got outed and had to leave or something.
I do love the idea that he's actually gay. That would be really fun. And maybe he and Brooks will end up together, but Brooks is in denial of his sexuality.
Brooks is not worthy based on the philosophy that we get from him this chapter. He'd have to go on a whole redemption arc.
I don't know if he's going to get that kind of screen time. We'll see. Jaw is pretty great. He deserves someone good.
I like Jaw a lot. And I also like, despite how creepy the rest of them are, it's clear that they're like very competent, like all of Coil's soldiers, right? Like it's clear that they're not going to be a problem in this kind of situation.
Right. Even if maybe they can't be trusted alone to run the shelter.
All right, let me go through my notes. I was delighted that when the knife fell on the ground, it skittered. Did you see that? When the knife fell on the ground,
it skittered. Oh my gosh, I missed that.
And Taylor falls on it.
She's still there. Yeah.
I loved it. I also I'm just looking at kind of random things now, but like Skidmark's creative profanity is all very funny to me. And the fact that he has a cape now, and Taylor's like, but he's not pulling it off. It's
just like some people can get away with that, like Alexandria, not him.
His teeth look terrible even from very far away. Right? I do kind of love and the description of Mush is so awful.
Oh, yeah, he looks like Gollum, but the text doesn't say Gollum. It implies it.
They all seem like gross in a kind of awful, delightful way. And Skidmark's name makes sense. It is the grossest possible term you could come up with for a power that creates force field gradients. What he does is he creates the floors from Chip's challenge.
Oh, what a power. Oh my gosh.
Also, Skidmark's rhetoric had a little bit of class war stuff, right? The rich people in their fancy as fuck houses and jobs. This is I'm kind of on board with. It's the only good thing that the merchants have done or said or implied so far, but I feel like they're probably appropriating the class warfare. But if someone's gonna break into Alan Barnes' house while he's not there and steal all of his stuff...
Oh, I'm on board with that.
I'm on board with that.
Someone definitely has, but he brought all the stuff that he cares about with him, and he has enough money to replace the other stuff.
I did have some more thoughts. So, as fun as this chapter was in some ways, I also did find the scene before the girl gets rescued very uncomfortable. And I think one of the things that it was doing for me is this is another kind of scene of a victim being coerced into doing something terrible. But the fact that there are no superpowers at play in the immediate moment makes it more horrifying.
That's
right?
A great
there's
point,
something about it that it the mundanity of it.
Right. And the people
really
aren't at
disturbing.
this mall because they've been compelled by superpowers.
Right.
There are superpowers active in the merchants, but that's not what's bringing people here.
I was also reflecting Taylor's description of the men all wanted the women, but if someone tried to take one, they would beat him up. Taylor thinks they'd silently agreed to share this by watching. And I was thinking this is another set of unwritten rules, right? The same way that the Cape world operates on this unwritten group psychology instead of on, a bureaucratic legal system. It's something that we could pull on there in the future, probably. Oh, I'm going to be unfair to Taylor here.
Oh, yeah?
When they rescue the girl, right, it's staged as a kidnapping. But thankfully it's not a serious kidnapping. I mean,
what a great point.
To make a more nuanced point, right? part of the logic of this scenario is they do put her through a violent kidnapping in order to achieve the good end of saving her, right? There's no way that they can save her so that she understands in the moment that there's no way that they can save her in a way that she can consent to.
Yes. Right? Yeah.
Which I think it's the type of uncomfortable scenario that kind of the story wants to keep.
Right, yeah. They're doing more harm with the goal of doing good and preventing harm, but that's still harm in a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in an arc with a lot of stuff about reputation, thought it was fascinating that Taylor has a reputation in a way that Skitter does not, at least in certain circles.
Yeah.
And I also contrast Taylor loses her temper in a way that is very Taylor. Skitter, this arc, has been in control, always deeply in control of the situation and her emotions. She stands by while the bugs, destroy a person, and she's just like very coolly and calculatedly steps on someone's hand, right? She's not losing her temper as Skitter, right? But she still does fly off the handle in her Taylor persona more so.
I was wondering, speaking of her being Skitter earlier in this arc, I was saying it was a bad idea to let Sierra into her headquarters. Sierra seems like someone who could fall for Bryce's apologies, and then Bryce could betray. That's the kind of thread that I feel like is not going to be pulled at in this narrative, but it definitely could be. Like, the possibility is there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and I wanted to read this line when she gets thanked. This is really sad. She thinks, "I'd wanted to be a hero once upon a time."
Yeah.
It's how far she's come and how much she's given up on this ideal, even though we still see some of that hero side, showing through the same way Lisa does.
So, should we do some predictions?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Who knew this was going to be such a meaty episode?
I think that Taylor is going to end up in a fight with the merchants, and that she's going to have allies who are people we don't yet know are there.
Cool.
Members of the Protectorate and or the Slaughterhouse Nine.
Cool. Yeah, allies, right?
Yeah.
Those are allies.
I mean, enemies of my enemy. But, I do think... I don't think the Slaughterhouse Nine would be, taking the merchants down, but they might be messing things up, interestingly. But, either, New Wave or the Wards or the Protector, some heroes are going to be there.
And why are these other parties there?
Because they also want to see what's going on.
Yeah,
because
doing recon.
Yeah, and because they've figured out, or maybe they've just figured out tonight, they're making more capes. We have to stop this. We have to get those canisters. And everyone's going to want that.
I do love, we had this arc, right? Taylor sees the words Case 53 on Lisa's board. And then here we have the powers in the can. It's like the Undersiders are catching up to the readers in terms of setting mysteries that they are aware of.
That we got in our interludes. Yeah, I do think that the canisters should end up with Taylor because that's the most interesting possibility. And I think Lisa will insist that they be handed over to Coil, and I don't think Taylor's going to want that.
Ooh.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Or maybe, I don't know that Trainwreck would actually help, but...
What does Taylor do with 1 to 5 canisters of superpower in a can?
I feel like the smart thing to do is destroy them, but that feels too narratively inert. So I think she'll probably try to hide them so no one can find them, but that probably won't last very long.
So if she hides them, who will accidentally take the superpowers in the can?
Oh, she's going to give one to Danny at some point.
It makes a certain kind of sense. We did have that nightmare at the beginning of the arc.
That's true. And also, his daughter has a superpower. He doesn't have anyone else that he needs to, stay in the normal world for. Even if this has the risk of, turning him into a weird monster creature or whatever. Yeah. He's going to want to follow Taylor where she's gone.
Oh.
Also, probably Emma will get her hands on one.
Imagine Skitter shows up. Taylor can't come home, Danny. But you can come with me. Drink this. Waterboards him, and then...
That is not how she would do it. She would give him a choice.
Well, I am happy to tell you there is a cape name in the next chapter.
What is it?
Scrub.
Scrub? It's kind of a terrible cape name.
So, what does that tell you?
It's going to be one of the merchants.
Okay.
One of the new merchants.
Okay.
Scrub. Let's see. They definitely don't clean things. They're probably not a doctor or nurse. They might be a scrawny tree. Hard to say. I'm, like, having a lot of trouble coming up with a power that, like, would be at all cool that involves, like, scrubbing. They are a huge eraser.
Huge eraser. What would that do?
Oh, do you think they wipe people's memories?
Interesting.
Yes,
okay, so like the
memory
Men
scrubbing.
in Black. Yeah, okay. And the first sentence of Infestation 11.6 is he for real? I look to Lisa for an...
answer.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I've already predicted what I think their goal is going to be here.
Amazing. Well, the arc continues. Still a few chapters more.
Well, we'll find out more next time.
On Inchworm. Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.